You know that feeling?
Yeah.
That rumbling stomach, the sudden, need for a snack. Maybe you can't stop thinking about your next meal. We've all been there.
Absolutely. Hunger's just, well, it's your body's way of saying, hey, need some fuel over here.
Yeah, exactly. But what if that feeling just sticks around? Like you're hungry all the time, even if you just ate.
Yeah, that's different. A lot of people might just say, oh, I've got a big appetite. But maybe, just maybe, that constant nagging feeling isn't just appetite. Maybe it's your body trying to flag something important.
Right. It could actually be a signal that there's something deeper going on.
Mm-hmm.
So today, we're doing a deep dive. We're not just listing reasons. We're trying to decode that really persistent message.
Right.
Why you might always feel hungry.
And we're drawing on some solid insights here. We've looked at 14 reasons why you're always hungry from Healthline. It was medically reviewed by Jerlyn Jones and written by Brianna Elliott.
Our mission, really, is to pull out the key takeaways, the nuggets that can help you make sense of this, well, pretty common but often confusing feeling.
And real hunger, isn't just the stomach growls. You might get a headache coming on, feel kind of irritable.
Yeah, or find it hard to focus.
Exactly. Most of us, we can go a few hours between meals okay, but if you've got that constant gnawing feeling, that demand for more, it's definitely worth looking into.
Okay, let's unpack this then, because it seems like there's way more to constant hunger than just needing another snack. It's like your body's sending these cryptic messages.
And we're the decoders today.
Right. Let's decode those signals, starting with the most obvious place. What's on your plate?
Okay, so first up, maybe a bit unexpected, not getting enough protein. It's not just for muscles, Turns out protein is like a secret agent for controlling appetite.
Interesting. So how does it do that? How does protein actually, turn down the hunger dial? What's the mechanism?
Well, it's pretty clever. Protein works to lower ghrelin, that's often called the hunger hormone.
Right, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, and at the same time, it boosts PYY and GLP-1. Those are hormones that basically tell your brain, okay, we're good, we're satisfied now. There was a 2020 review that really highlighted this effect.
Wow. Okay, so it's hitting it from both sides.
Right.
Reduce the hungry, increase the full.
Pretty much.
So the practical advice here, everyone's protein needs are different, but making sure you've got a decent source of protein in every meal, that seems like a key strategy for keeping hunger in check.
Definitely. And then kind of the flip side of that coin, eating too many refined carbs.
Yes, the white bread, pasta, sugary stuff.
Exactly. And the thing is, not all carbs are the same, right? A 2022 review showed pretty clearly that those digestible or refined carbs, they just don't keep you full for nearly as long as protein does.
And that's because of how fast they break down.
Precisely. They're highly processed, stripped of fiber, vitamins, minerals, all the good stuff, so your body just burns through them super quick.
Leading to that blood sugar spike.
Yep, big spike. Then your body pumps out insulin to deal with it, pushes the sugar into your cells, and boom, sudden drop in blood sugar.
And that drop triggers the alarm bells.
Yeah.
Need food now, like an emergency.
You got it. It's a cycle. Quick fix, quick crash.
So the smart move isn't just avoiding them entirely, but swapping them out. Replace them with nutrient-dense whole foods. Veggies, fruit, legumes, whole grains, things with fiber.
Which brings us nicely to the next point. Fat. Specifically, when your diet's low in healthy fats.
Right. Fat got such a bad rap for a while, but it's crucial, isn't it, for feeling full?
Absolutely essential. The main reason is it just digests really slowly.
So it literally stays in your stomach longer, keeping you satisfied.
Exactly. Plus, eating healthy fats triggers the release of those fullness hormones we mentioned earlier, CCK, GLP-1, PYY, reinforces the I'm full signal.
Are some fats better than others for this?
Yeah, some seem particularly good. Think MCTs, medium chain triglycerides, like from coconut oil, and omega-3s, from fatty fish like salmon, tuna, sardines.
Or plant sources like walnuts and flax seeds.
Yep, those too. And don't forget everyday things like avocados, olive oil, eggs, all great sources of healthy fats that help with appetite.
Okay, so protein, check. Healthy fats, check. What about fiber? You mentioned it with carbs. It seems like another big player if it's missing.
Oh, a major player. Fiber is a powerhouse for appetite management. If your diet likes it, you're really missing out on a key tool for feeling full.
How does it work its magic?
Well, it does a couple of things. It slows down gastric emptying, basically, how fast food leaves your stomach.
Okay, similar to fat then.
Kinda, yeah. And it also just increases that feeling of satiety, keeps you feeling fuller longer. Plus, high fiber intake influences those appetite-reducing hormones and gut signals, too.
And there are different kinds of fiber, aren't there?
Right. You've got soluble fiber, that's the kind in oatmeal, flaxseed, sweet potatoes. It absorbs water, gets kind of gel-like.
Ah, that sounds filling.
It is. Research suggests it's particularly good for fullness. Then there's insoluble fiber, which more just moves things along.
So the best way to get enough is just eat more plants.
Pretty much. Load up on fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, whole grains. A diet rich in whole, plant-based foods is naturally high in fiber.
All right, let's switch gears a bit. We've talked a lot about what you eat, but what about how you live? Your habits, your lifestyle? That can mess with hunger signals too, right?
Oh, absolutely. A huge one. Not getting enough sleep.
Seriously, sleep affects hunger.
Big time. Good sleep is non-negotiable for health, and it directly impacts appetite. A 2022 review showed poor sleep lowers leptin, that's your I'm full hormone,
Okay.
and it increases ghrelin, the I'm hungry hormone.
Whoa, so it's a double whammy, less full signal, more hungry signal. No wonder you'd feel hungrier.
Exactly. Your whole appetite communication system gets thrown off.
So how much sleep are we talking? What's the target?
The CDC recommends at least 7 hours a night for adults. It sounds basic, but it's often the first thing people cut back on.
Yeah, guilty as charged sometimes. Okay,
Yeah.
what else in the lifestyle department?
Another really common one, often overlooked. Just not drinking enough water.
Hydration. How does that link to hunger?
Well, research shows drinking water, especially before a meal, can actually reduce how many calories you eat overall.
Really? I think I read about a small study, maybe 2016. Participants drank 2 cups of water before eating and ate like almost 600 fewer calories. That's a lot.
It is, and sometimes your body just gets its signals crossed. You might feel hungry, but you're actually just thirsty.
So you reached for a snack when you needed water. Huh.
Exactly. So a simple strategy, try having a glass or 2 of water between meals. Aim for maybe 6 to 8 glasses a day. That's the general advice. And remember, watery foods count too. Fruits, veggies.
Good tip. Okay, what about how we eat? Like the context.
Yeah.
I know I'm guilty of eating lunch at my desk sometimes.
Distracted eating. That's our next point. Eating on the go, scrolling your phone, even just being deep in conversation while you eat.
Yeah, that makes you hungrier.
It's linked to greater appetite and eating more calories, yeah. A 2022 review suggested it's because your brain is, well, distracted. It's not fully tuning into those fullness signals from your gut.
So you don't register you're full as easily.
Right. It might even dull your sense of taste, weirdly, making you want to eat more or more often to get that satisfaction.
Okay, the solution sounds like mindful eating. Pay attention.
Exactly. Put the screens away, silence the phone, sit down, actually savor the food. It's not just about being polite to your meal, it's about letting your brain get the message.
Makes sense. And related to that, I guess, is eating too fast.
Yep, very related. The speed matters. Reviews from 2018 and 2023 suggest that slowing down, chewing more thoroughly, that can increase satiety and reduce appetite.
It gives your body and brain time to catch up, right? Time for those anti-hunger hormones to kick in and send the all-full signal.
Precisely. Now, some studies didn't find a super strong link, but it's a mindful technique with basically no downside. Try taking a few deep breaths before you start, put your fork down between bites, really chew.
Simple changes. Okay, what about exercise? Does that fit in here?
It does, especially if you exercise a lot.
Ah, for the serious athletes or gym goers.
Right. Frequent, high-intensity, or really long workouts obviously burn a ton of calories. That can definitely ramp up hunger.
And doesn't intense exercise, like weight training, sometimes boost your metabolism even when you're resting? Your BMR.
Yeah, there's some evidence for that.
Okay.
One study from 2011 found a tough 45-minute workout boosted BMR by like 37% for 14 hours afterwards. More calorie burn equals more hunger, potentially.
Wow.
But it's worth noting the research is a bit mixed, and this mainly applies to really intense exercisers. Moderate exercise usually doesn't mean you need to suddenly eat way more.
So if you are training hard, the key is just eat more to compensate. Focus on good stuff.
Exactly. Fuel those workouts properly. Focus on foods high in fiber, protein, healthy fats, the satiating stuff we talked about.
Okay. Another habit, alcohol. Does that play a role?
Oh, definitely. Alcohol is pretty notorious for stimulating appetite.
Yeah, I feel like I always want snacks after a drink or two.
Right. It seems to affect the parts of your brain involved in judgment, desire, reward. A 2021 study found it can increase both the desire for food and how much you actually eat.
Plus, it's calories, but it doesn't really fill you up, does it?
Not at all. Liquid calories generally aren't very satiating. And drinking alcohol before or with the meal usually leads to eating more overall.
So for managing hunger, maybe cutting back on alcohol or being mindful of when you drink it could help.
For sure. Moderation or avoidance can definitely reduce those hunger-inducing effects.
And you mentioned liquid calories there. Is that a broader point, like drinking your calories in general?
Yeah, it is. Things like smoothies, meal replacement shakes, they tend to be less filling than solid foods.
Because they digest faster.
Exactly. Your body processes liquids quicker. And sugary drinks especially. They offer calories but very little in the way of fullness signals.
Less impact on those hunger-suppressing hormones, maybe.
That seems to be part of it. Plus, you drink them fast, so your brain just has less time to register fullness compared to chewing solid food.
So focusing on solid, whole foods over liquid calories is probably a better bet for staying satisfied.
Generally, yes. It's a good strategy for appetite management.
Okay, we've covered diet, habits.
Mm-hmm.
Are there deeper things, maybe less obvious factors that could be driving constant hunger?
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk about stress, chronic stress.
Stress. It affects everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How does it impact hunger?
Well, long-term stress ramps up your cortisol levels, and cortisol, that stress hormone, is known to promote hunger and cravings, especially for, those high-fat, high-sugar comfort foods.
The classic stress eating cycle.
Precisely. So if you're constantly stressed out, that persistent hunger could be a direct physiological result. Your body's reacting to the cortisol.
That sounds tough to break. So finding ways to manage stress, exercise, yoga, deep breathing, whatever works for you that could actually help manage appetite too.
Absolutely. It's not just for your head, it's for your hunger signals too.
Interesting connection. What else?
Medications. It's something people might not think about, but several common meds can list increased appetite as a side effect.
Really? Like what kind of medications?
Things like certain antipsychotics, some types of antidepressants, corticosteroids are a big one, some anti-seizure drugs, even some forms of hormonal birth control, especially those with progesterone.
Wow, that's quite a list. So if someone started a new medication and suddenly feels ravenous all the time,
it's definitely worth talking to their doctor. Don't just stop the medication, obviously, but ask if there might be alternatives or ways to manage that side effect.
good advice. Okay, anything else? One final area.
Yeah, the last one is the possibility of an underlying medical condition. Sometimes persistent hunger is actually a symptom.
Okay, like what sort of conditions?
It could be things like diabetes or an overactive thyroid hyperthyroidism, hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, even PMS for some people, or mental health conditions like depression can sometimes manifest with changes in appetite, including increased hunger.
Right, so if you've looked at your diet, your lifestyle, your stress, your meds, and you're still always hungry,
then it's really time to see a doctor. Get checked out, get a proper diagnosis, and figure out the right treatment plan. Don't just ignore it.
Wow, okay. That was incredibly thorough.
Mm-hmm.
So let's kind of recap this constant hunger. It could just be your body needing food naturally.
Right, basic needs.
But it could also be a sign pointing to your diet. Maybe not enough protein, fat, or fiber, or your habits eating too fast while distracted, not sleeping enough, maybe too much alcohol.
Or even deeper things like chronic stress, the side effects of medication.
Or an actual underlying medical issue that needs attention. It's a surprisingly wide range of possibilities.
It really is. So the first step for you listening is maybe just to take stock. Look honestly at your own diet and lifestyle.
Yeah, could a simple tweak make a difference? More protein at breakfast, swapping white rice for brown, prioritizing sleep, drinking more water.
Small changes can sometimes have a big impact on feeling full and satisfied.
Exactly, because understanding the why behind your appetite, it's not just about food, is it? It's really about your whole way of living.
Which leads to a good question to ponder.
Yeah. How might making one small positive shift in one of these areas, sleep, stress, diet, whatever, how might that create a ripple effect? Improving not just your hunger, but maybe your overall well-being too.
It's definitely something to think about. And of course, the crucial reminder, if you try making changes and nothing seems to help that persistent hunger,
don't hesitate. Talk to a healthcare professional. Get that proper diagnosis and a personalized plan to get your hunger signals back on track.